Good afternoon. Thank you AICTE for inviting me to this webinar. Based on discussions with them, I have decided to focus on three themes: careers, research and projects. My name is Anindya Chatterjee, sometimes Anindya Chatterjee also is fine. I am a professor in mechanical engineering at IIT Kanpur. If you look for my web page, you will find it in case you want to see details about my students or research. Now, the first part of today's sessions, the first session is a discussion on this book called Build and Sustain a Career in Engineering. This was written by me last year, published by Notion Press. Why did I write this book is the first question. So there's a company called Career Launcher. You can see their logo here. In 2017, they held an event called Melting Pot 2020 and they invited me, that's me here, to give a talk on careers for the next generation. So after that I started thinking seriously about this and I used to talk about it with various people until in 2020 my wife, who is very practical, she told me stop talking about it and write a book. And so I wrote the book. Here is the book. It is available on Amazon and other, maybe Flipkart and one or two other places. And the price is from 207 upwards, but from Notion Press with a coupon code it is 150 plus shipping. This is also plus shipping. You can read the reviews on the book. You don't have to buy the book. In case you buy, you can use the coupon code and it will be a bit cheaper. So I will discuss some topics from the book here today. There is not enough time to discuss everything. So I'll discuss some basics and some highlights. Let us begin with the demographics of India. The population is more than 1.3 billion. The median age is 25. So median means 50%, you see. So 650 million people are under age 25. If you divide 650 million by 25 years, then you get 26 million per year. And the population is uniformly distributed below age 25. These two things mean that we have approximately 26 million 18-year-olds. Please note that that is more than all the people in Australia. But we have another 26 million 19-year-olds and we have another 26 million 20-year-olds and so on. So there's a very large number of young people and they have to earn their living, support their families and so on, and this is a problem in India that is going to become very important over the next 20-25 years. You are in an AICTE affiliated college, so you could have been maybe a little better off, but you realize that you are already better off than many of these 26 million people who are your age. However, you still have challenges, and that is what I'm going to be discussing today. Here is a picture. I would like you to look at this picture. Imagine a long wall with many doors and people standing in line outside. This person here is trying to figure out which line he has to join, which queue. What does this picture represent? This is the picture I got in my head when some years ago the Indian Railways announced 1.2 lakh jobs and 2.4 crore people applied. If you like millions, then this is 0.12 millions and 24 million. Okay, this is 200x. This means, for example, if there is one door along every meter of the wall, outside each door there is an average of 200 people. At some point the door will open and one out of these 200 will be allowed to get in. This wall is 120 kilometers long because it is 1.2 lakh meters long. If you get in a car and drive from one end of the wall to the other, it will take you 2 hours. This is a picture of unemployment in India. And it is not going to get better because we have a very large number of young people who are going to be looking for jobs over the next 20 years. What are the implications? It may be hard to get a job in the first place, and if you get a job, wages may be low. Why? Many unemployed younger people are behind you. You see, if younger people can do your work for less money, then you may get laid off. If artificial intelligence or machine learning can do your work for less money, you may get laid off, right? You must build and sustain a career. Sustaining a career means having a career that survives for many years. This is a long-term goal, and therefore right from the beginning, from your stage of life, I favor long-term thinking. Some things are naturally shared, like road space. So you see, here is this road, 4 people, some more people come and they share the space. That's how it is on roads. But jobs are not shared. See, here there are 3 jobs and 5 people. These 2 people did not get jobs. These 3 people got jobs. But what happens is, these 2 people, they have children, they have homes to support. So what will they say? They can't say, okay, I'll work next year. This year their children are hungry. This year their rent has to be paid. They will say, we will take less money. The moment they say that, these people also will see a drop in their salaries, or they will be laid off. The converse can happen when there is a lot of work and there are few workers. So suppose there are 4 employers, they have a chance to make money, but only 3 qualified employees. This employer is running a loss because he is not able to make the profit he could have made if he had an employee. What will he say? We will say, we will pay more money. This guy may come here. This person will have to pay more money. In this way, very soon, everyone's salaries will go up. Okay, so this job-wise, skill-wise, right, there is a very strong reaction to a relative excess or shortage of workers in proportion to the amount of work available. This idea in my book I have discussed using this picture. This picture is from the book. This, I call it the wage rate pyramid. At the top of the pyramid there are few people getting a high wage. At the bottom there are many people getting a low wage. This is skill by skill. Every skill is some layer here. Every type of job, maybe you're a heart surgeon, you're somewhere here. Maybe you're a Java programmer, then you're somewhere, and so on. Okay. Now people from the bottom, they want to climb up by acquiring education or training. But when too many people appear here, the wage rate goes down. Everybody's salary goes down. Okay. The salary goes up only if new work enters the economy and there is a relative shortage of workers. Then wage rates for that work will rise. Okay. So think of the Indian IT boom. Most of you may be too young to remember the Indian IT boom, but it started after I graduated from college, so I saw it. Starting salaries in basic IT jobs became quite high, but after some time they stopped rising. For the last 10 years or more, starting salaries in basic IT jobs are at about 3 lakhs per annum. They are not increasing, but meanwhile there is inflation. This means the salary is going down. Okay. Hiring companies have also moved down the list of colleges. So companies hiring for basic IT jobs used to go to higher companies. Now they have come to higher level colleges or higher ranked colleges. Now they have come to second tier, then slowly third tier colleges. This is how the wage rate pyramid works. Good enough employees have arrived faster than new opportunities. Why good enough? Companies are not interested in the best. They are interested in people who are good enough to do the job. That is there. Companies that hire in large numbers, right? Okay. It happens in other places too. Let me give you this example. This data is from the US. Data is from 1948 till 2013. It is actually, I have a source. If you ask, I will send it at some point. But this is a well-known graph in the US, and you will see that since 1948, in some percentage change, productivity has gone steadily up. But in 1973 something happened. Basically the number of people looking for jobs increased, and then after that Chinese imports started, then Indian IT imports started, and so on. I mean, India was importing IT work, they were exporting. So in this way the wages are nearly flat. Okay. So this is a national aggregate for median income. Okay. So you can see the wage rate pyramid works everywhere. In the same context, let us talk about Indian demographics, which I showed you a little bit earlier. That picture, the one I showed you earlier, or those numbers represent this blue curve. What is the vertical axis? That 26 I've written as 25. 25 million people per year. So 20-year-olds, that means between age 20 and 21. So we will call them all 20-year-olds. There are 25 million people. And if you are 20 years old, then you are here on this line. I've just put you at the top because you're on the curve. Then 30-year-olds somewhere here, approximately this much, slightly less than 25, and so on. I am here somewhere. Okay, this blue curve. This is the Indian population density or distribution today. 25 years later, my population of 55-year-olds, they will not move horizontally. Many will die. Okay, so many will die. This many will be alive. Okay, so numbers will shrink. But you, if you are 20 now, you will be 45 after 25 years. Most of you will still be alive. As a result, your movement is going to be horizontal. So this is you today on the blue curve. This is you 25 years from now on this magenta curve. What is this rectangle? This rectangle has 25 years into 25 million per year. That is 625 million people. These people will take your work or take your job if they can. Agreed? Yes. How is that different from my situation? Why should you be more concerned than I was or I am? The reason is this. Today, by the time you reach there, you see all of these people, they will all have had phones. They will all have had nearly free internet access. In a world where knowledge is free, many colleges have opened. Degree holders are many. So they have some degree, they have knowledge, and it is easy for them to learn, and they are in very large numbers, they are competitive. Okay, so this rectangle is a matter of concern for your generation. It is not here yet because you are still here, but it will come. It will be there by the time you are 45. Let's talk about a somewhat related matter which I call annual coin tossing. Think of it as a game. Now, coin tossing is a random experiment. What that means is that the outcome is not known in advance. Coins have 50-50 for heads or tails, but I am using coin tossing here as just a label for some other random experiment where success is less likely. So suppose you have to prepare for one whole year, and at the end of the year you get to toss the coin. Okay, so that you get to do a random experiment. Random because the outcome is not known. Okay, the population's probability of success is 1 in 1000. That means if 10,000 people play, approximately 10 will succeed. If 1 lakh people play, approximately 100 will succeed. Approximately. So that's the population's probability of success. You don't know what your own probability of success is. You know, some people will succeed, some people will not succeed. Okay. Success means big benefits. Failure means 1 year lost. This year is lost. Okay. How many times should you try? Well, obviously you can't try 100 times because you'll be dead, right? And if you don't try, then you don't know. But maybe you will try. If you try, how many times? Okay. So many people try 3 to 5 times and stop. Most of the people who try 3 to 5 times, most of them don't succeed. What should they do next? This is one of the chapters in my book, and you may think it is a funny thing to be talking about, but actually this is the story of UPSC exams. People want to be IAS officers. Every year approximately 1 million people try and approximately 1000 people succeed. You see, so 1 in 1000. Out of every 1000, 999 people do not succeed. Yet they keep trying. They spend 1 million man years of effort and hope every year, year after year. Why do they do this? Because of this. That is why this picture is important. This is unemployment in India. Why am I telling you all this? I am telling you this because if you do not face facts, how can you prepare for your future? To prepare for your future, you must face facts. I want to give you the data and the facts and the interpretation which everybody has, but which very few are facing. Okay, people say things like this. They say 80% of engineers in India are unemployable. They say this, and I always feel strange when people say that, because if all these engineers become employable, will you hire them? Where are the jobs? Think of what will happen in the wage rate pyramid. Infosys, such a big company, has only 2.5 lakh people. Meanwhile, we have 26 lakh 18-year-olds. If I make them all employable, I will need 10 full Infosys companies per year. We don't have that. We don't have that. If everybody in India is an MBBS, what will happen to doctors' fees? You think about it, right? So this is the context in which you have to plan for your future. The question is, if things are so bad, why not give up? You may say, Chatterjee, you are just giving us bad news. You're a gloomy, negative person, and now I am depressed. Why should I not give up? I'll say, don't give up, because even in that, some people will do well, and you can be that person. You can try. You will do better if you try than if you don't. Typical people do not see very far. You can be different. You can see far and plan for a long game. See, most people do not work very hard. Now you will think I'm just being critical, but you look at it. If you know the result of every IPL match and the name of every Bollywood star, then are you really working very hard? You think about it. Many people may be doing this. It's okay. But a few people are not. And you are still young enough so that you can choose which one you want to be. They scatter their attention and lose focus. For example, even if the phone is not ringing, you may say that you will pick up your phone 30 times a day. Or you may put your phone in one room and go to another room and say, I will only come back after 4 hours unless the phone rings. Right? So they are in a hurry. You see, they say, after BTech, what is my starting salary? They say things like that. But the point is, if you build something quickly, others will copy it quickly. Right? If there are many people who are trying to copy, some people will succeed. Right? The final thing is that even if it is very bad, you don't give up, because you need only one career. You don't need millions of careers. The country needs millions of careers, but you don't. You need only one. Let the country face its million problems. You face one problem, right? Of course, even if you listen to me and use my strategy, or you find some other strategy, or whatever you do, success is not guaranteed, not for everybody, but you can improve your chances. Okay, so one thing you do is you learn more, you learn it better, you think clearly, you connect topics. These are deep things. I will discuss them a little bit more in the rest of this talk, but I have discussed it at great length in the book. Okay, so use the next 10 years. Really, this is where the difference will occur. See, if some people waste these years and you don't, you spend it learning more, learning it better, thinking clearly and connecting topics, then 10 years later your graph will be like this and their graph is still like this. You see, then they cannot catch you, because you will proceed like that and they can only begin like this and they will be far behind you. I hope you can understand one graph like this and one graph like this, if you can see my cursor. Okay, so if others waste these years, they cannot catch you statistically. A few may, but most of them won't. You must learn how to connect your classroom learning to the world. Facts are everywhere. Google gives you so much information. There are facts in other places also. Connections need practice. Okay, that you have to learn, and it's a slow process. Okay, prepare properly for interviews. Understand what employers want. There are many books on this, but I have also discussed it in my book. Prepare mentally for a long journey. Maybe even prepare for failure. For some years, things may not go very well. Okay, build a reputation for ability and reliability. I really think, personally, I believe that this is very important. So if you work for a company, seniors in that company, when they have work that is important to them, they should look for you and give you that work. They should trust you. What happens? You get more experience, you get more confidence, and when those seniors go up, they take you with them. You may think that you will look at successful people and do what they did. That is what I mean by copying. I don't mean cheating, but trying to adopt the strategies of successful people. This approach suffers from a dangerous mistake called survivor bias. Let me explain. Suppose you talk to CEOs of some successful companies and ask them the secret of the success of those companies. And suppose they say some blah blah, they say two things, A and B. So maybe they will say, we took risks and we were not afraid to change our product. Let's something they say. Okay. Now the point is, oh, you think that's the best plan because they became successful. But they may just be their opinions. Maybe they succeeded because just around that time Chinese imports had not yet come. Maybe they succeeded because it was just after the Indo-Pakistan war and some issue was there. Maybe they succeeded because the tax law was different at that time. Right? We don't know. Okay, so we don't know. Just because they are saying A and B were the reasons, they may not be the real reasons. That's the first problem. The other problem is that many other companies may have done exactly A and B and still failed. Those companies are not here today. You are only talking to the survivors, right? This is why it is called survivor bias. Maybe 90% of companies who try this fail and 10% do very well. You see, and you will think that that is the winning formula, but there is a 90% chance of disaster. So basically what I'm saying is, if someone says X is the reason for his or her success, you are not sure that X in fact is the reason. Separately, if everyone who does X became successful, that would be one thing, but you don't know that. Okay. Another thing you can remember is that you will not start at the top, right? You will rise if you are valuable to people who are at the top. So you should listen to what they have to say, right? This is why in the book there are 3 external voices. There are 3 chapters. One is from Datta. They are all people I know. They have done very well in their career. So one of them is Datta. He spent time in GAIL, Gas Authority of India Limited, then Reliance, and now he's working for a big company called AGNP. He's a big shot there. So they are in the natural gas industry. This person, Biani, he's younger. He's a co-founder of a company called Hector Beverages. They make paper boat drinks. You may be familiar. So he's a successful entrepreneur in the beverages industry. And Reddy is chairman and CEO of Brightcom Group. They are in digital marketing. Okay, so this is also 2 entrepreneurs and 1 senior person in core industry. What do these people say? They emphasize hard work, tenacity, attention to customer needs, understanding of risk, honesty, fairness, reliability, character, things like that. These are all positive long-term traits. I asked these people what they think is good for careers. None of them are recommending shortcuts. So shortcuts are easy to take and not reliable statistically. I would like you to think clearly about probability and luck. Let's say you take exams and you were trying for A and B. You got B, but you did not get A. A is the superior option. You wanted it, but you didn't get it. So maybe you will drop a year and try again and hope to get A this time. You know, many people do this. But maybe you miss both. Second time what happens is you get neither A nor B. Maybe you were lucky the first time, or maybe you are unlucky the second time. Nobody really knows. What is sure is that you just lost 2 years. Okay, this can happen. Now this has happened to students I know, and the father of one of those students is a professor who teaches probability. But he did not think that the laws of probability will apply to his child. You see, so this happens. Why? Because we attribute our success to our talent and our hard work, and we attribute our failure to bad luck or the unfairness of the world. This is very common. It is a human mistake. Individuals also think that the statistics of the population will not apply to them. That is what happened to this professor and his child. Okay, some numerical examples are there in the book, but I will not discuss them here. If you are going to think about probabilities, you need to guess what your probabilities are. Even that is not really known. That is why you should think of representative sets. Okay, so let me give you some examples so that you will understand. Okay, let's say your family is in a business, so business family. You have many friends who own businesses, and you want to start a business. Your chances are going to be quite good because that is your representative set. Okay, these are the people from whom you are drawn. You are one specimen from that set. But suppose you say you will not start business, you will prepare for UPSC or you will go into professional sports. Then you may be closer to average. You will lose your advantage. Okay. Another example. Say you are a poor village kid. you know 50 local kids who went to Kota or some such coaching center for JEE coaching, and 3 of them got into IIT or NIT, which we will call good success. Okay, 3 out of 50. Are your chances closer to 3 out of 50 or 40 out of 50? Is your probability of success 6% or 80%? I think it is close to 6%. You're a poor village kid, you know these kids, they are your representative sets. They are your representative set. However, if all those 50 kids are from one school, you are also in that same school and you topped that school, your teachers say that you are better than all those kids. The teachers know those kids, they know you, they say you are better than all 50 of those. What are your chances now? Much better than 6%, right? Okay, let's say you are from there, you get admission in a college, and in this college 35% of students get good jobs. What are your chances of getting a good job? 35%. That is your representative set. Your representative set is changing, right? Okay, but in that college, after 3 years or 4 years, you are in the top 10% of your class. Now what is the probability that you will get a good job? Much bigger than 35%, maybe 80%, 85%, I don't know, but much better than 35%, right? Okay, it is in this way that your representative set changes over time, and you want to do better than, more than, maybe even if you are ambitious, you will do more than 50% will be behind you, maybe 70% of your representative set. You want to outperform them. If you think you will beat 99% of your representative set, maybe you will, but chances are low, right? 30% you can shoot for. But what you do is every time you outperform 70% of your representative set, you get a new representative set. You take a few years, you learn, you improve. Some people get lazy, some people get distracted. You improve your skills, you concentrate, you keep climbing, you keep learning. What happens is you outperform 70% of them again. In this way, if you can do it 4 or 5 times over your career, you will be absolutely transformed. The change in you will be very big. Okay, all right. So you want to develop long-term value. There are various chapters in the book on this. There's one chapter where I discuss all of these: learning to speak, write, do varied things, think, learn, relate your studies to the world, formulate problems, solve equations, program computers, statistics and data. It's a very interesting area. And software. Okay, so that's one. There's a chapter I have on developing a useful view of mathematics. Many engineering students in India have a strange view of mathematics. Think about personality and character. By personality, I mean short-term things. Are you confident? Do you smile? Do you joke? Are you a serious person? Character is your inner set of values. Are you reliable? Are you honest? Are you persistent? You know, things like that. Okay, so think about these things. Then I have a chapter on being ready to fail and being prepared to persist. Very important for your generation. Okay, I have a chapter where I discuss this: fortune favors the prepared mind. This is from a great scientist called Louis Pasteur. So now what does it mean? If your mind is ready, then when luck comes, you will be able to use that and do good things. What is your mind? So I propose a model that your mind is a network of things that you know and connect. There is a long discussion of this, and in that chapter, and you can, if you're interested, you can see that. How do you choose from multiple options in life? This also is very important, because as we are going forward, we don't have enough information, and in the presence of uncertainty, in the absence of information, we still have to choose, right? So binary choices are what I call easiest. You know, for example, should you have pizza or paratha for dinner tonight? You have boiled it down to that. Only two candidates are there. You have to choose one. Or should you study chemistry in a good college or computer science in a bad college? Okay, it's binary. I hope you will agree that there is no unique answer. For some people, pizza is the correct answer. For some people, paratha is the correct answer. Similarly, for some people, chemistry is the correct answer, and for others, computer science is the correct answer. Okay, but you may not have binary choices. In life, you have multiple options. Let me give you an example. Okay, so let's say you have just graduated from a small college. You have one job offer, but it is not a good job offer. Its pay is low and growth prospects are low. Yet, you can't ignore the job offer. Your family needs money soon. But you're thinking you're good at exams, maybe you could take GATE or something. But you have college friends and they have startups, maybe you can join them, then you will not get paid for a while, but who knows, if the company succeeds, you'll do very well. You have a cousin in a big city, he says you can go stay with him and look for a job. Or you are thinking maybe you can consider taking a coaching for GATE or CAT because you are good for exams, and then try for either M.Tech or MBA or something. But then there is a local coaching center, you know someone, and someone over there tells you, you come and work part-time for us and do some coaching for our students. Then your aunt in another big city, she has a house, she says you can stay there, but she does not have contacts. Once you go, you'll have to look on your own. From here, what do you choose? This is much harder than a binary choice. Okay, it's multi-dimensional. You simply don't have enough information. How do you proceed? So I spent some time discussing how such choices can be approached. Okay, there are some other chapters. There's a chapter on learning English where I discuss how English compares with Spanish and how these two languages compare with Indian languages. But I also discuss methods for learning English and emphasize the importance of learning English. I talk about campus interviews as a candidate. That means when you are in campus, some company has come to hire. What should you think of? Let us not get buried in these three things. I've just written them for completeness. I've also written about campus interviews as a selector. That means a few years into your career, you go to some college. Now you are part of the interviewer and you are going to talk to students over there and try to select people. Then what are things that you should do, in my opinion? Okay, so I have these discussions. There's more. One important lesson in life is to compare yourself with you yesterday, not others today, because their journey is different, right? So there is a picture in there. It's about a girl that I know, woman now. You see this girl, as she is growing, her skill is growing, her strength is growing, her speed is growing, but her goals are also growing, right? So when you see this girl, you should compare with this girl, this girl, this girl, and this little girl here, rather than some other girl who is also playing at this level today, right? Compare yourself with you yesterday. Are you improving? That's very important. If you compare yourself with others who are with you today, you don't know what their journey is. There will always be someone who will depress you. There is another aspect of life that cannot be denied or defeated. Okay, that is aging. So then within that time frame, you have to think of time, you have to think of money, you have to think of burnout, you have to think of obsolescence. These are things that I discuss. These pictures are by Gargi Ghosh. Her name is on the cover of the book. There are two technical chapters for the long term. This is for engineers. So there is something I call a network of technical insights. So the main idea is that you learn simpler ways of looking at things and systems, and these insights connect up to form a network of insights. And young kids can't do it, you know. So you're young, you will see some experienced people and they are able to do some things and you will not be able to do that. Don't be depressed because you cannot do it now. That means when you are in their place 10 years later, 20 years later, young people of that time will not be able to do this. Okay, some examples are given. Similarly, there is another chapter finally on a philosophy of engineering design. So design uses inequalities. This is something I realized only very recently, because in colleges our analysis is mostly based on equations, not inequalities. But for example, if you are designing a structure, the applied load should be less than the collapse load. You see, in this way design uses inequalities. Or sufficiency precedes efficiency. First you must do the job, then you must do it better. Okay, so this approach has many uses in design, in troubleshooting, and I have discussed that with some examples in the book. Okay, so that brings me to the end of the discussion of the book. Please let me emphasize, buying the book is not compulsory. I am very happy and grateful to AICTE to get a chance to tell you about these ideas. You can buy the book if you like, you can tell your friends, you can recommend it to your library, you can read the reviews on Amazon first. Don't just look at 2-star, 3-star. There are 2-star so far, luckily not there, but you don't have to look at the number of stars necessarily. Read the reviews, read the words and think about what that reader is trying to say. Many of them have said good things about the book. The book is available on Amazon and Flipkart in this price range plus shipping, but Notion Press, which is the publisher, it allows me to create discount coupons, and this is the deepest possible discount coupon that it is allowing me to make. So the book, if you buy from the Notion Press website, if you look for my book, it will be 150 rupees plus shipping. You have to put a coupon code. So I have generated these 3 coupon codes. Each one allows up to 150. So one by one they will be used up. AICTE Talk, AICTE LEC 1, LEC for lecture, AICTE LEC 2. If you like, you can try one of these and buy the book if you like, but not compulsory, please. Okay. All right. Thank you very much. We'll take a short break now.